What if I told you that there were 5 scientific facts that evolutionists agree with that actually disprove evolution? This is going to be a controversial video, but truth is controversial, so let's get into it. First of all, what is evolution? Well, the distinction we need to make is microevolution or macroevolution. Microevolution is observed, macroevolution isn't. So microevolution is like different dog breeds. A Chihuahua and a Great Dane, a Golden Doodle and a Labradoodle. Those can all be breeded to create different dog breeds. Macroevolution is not observed. It is an amoeba turning into a plant, turning into an animal, turning into eventually a human. That's macroevolution. That is what is trying to be extrapolated from the observable microevolution. But macroevolution is just assumed from that. And making that connection if that connection is accurate or not is what I'm going to be discussing today. Now, the first argument against evolution is genetic limits. When you try to breed dogs, you cannot get out of this black box. These dogs, you can't get a dog that is any bigger than like a Great Dane without getting into massive health problems, and then the dogs will have heart attacks and way shorter lifespans, and it's not evolutionarily viable. You can't get a lion or a frog. These things are all outside of the dog breed box because dogs are a different species, and you can't breed dogs to get a different animal. It's just not something we can do, and breeders know that. But for some reason, many evolutionary biologists don't know that. The next one is cyclical change. This is Charles Darwin, by the way, here. Cyclical change. So when Darwin studied finches, he saw that there were short-beaked finches and long-beaked finches. When the weather is wet, the short-beaked finches the short-beaked finches population grows because the nuts that they need to crack with their beaks are a lot softer because of the wet environment. But in dry environments, probably not that dry, the large-beaked finches grow in population because they have the larger beaks needed to crack more of the nuts, which allows their population to grow. Notice that these finches always stayed finches. They didn't become a different species. They were still finches the entire time. The only thing that happened was that the population of large beak to small beak shifted over time due to the different environment. There's no way that anyone can extrapolate that to, finches became birds, which became dinosaurs, and all the other stuff that they try to link together. That's just not something we can observe from the evidence. And they only move back and forth in different weather conditions, which is a cycle, which is where we get the term cyclical change. The next argument is irreducible complexity. Irreducible complexity is like a car engine, using for this example, but a car engine is actually way less complex than life. So if you change one of the sizes of the pistons on the car engine without changing any of the other parts, like a random mutation in a organism, that car will no longer work because that piece does not fit with any other of the other pieces, which makes the engine as a whole not work. So if one piece gets mutated without any of the other pieces getting mutated exactly to match it, it doesn't fit, and then that organism just dies, so the car would die. This theory was come up with by Michael Behe, who has written numerous books on the topic. So if you look, the piston in the car, it can't be translated to the billions of years ago evolution timeline, because irreducible complexity is easily observed in so many different things. Like the cell has all these different parts. If one of the parts of the cell got bigger, all the other parts would need to compensate for that part of the cell being bigger. And that's more than one mutation. Darwinism needs one mutation. Darwin himself said that if any organism existed which can't be changed by one random mutation at a time, then his theory would completely break down. And those organisms weren't observed back in his day, but now we can see that. The next argument is non-viability of transitional forms. Consider the common assertion, not argument mind you, but assertion, that evolutionists make, that dinosaurs turned into birds over time. What would a half bird, half dinosaur be like? It wouldn't have scales, but wouldn't quite have feathers, and feathers are irreducibly complex, by the way. It can't fly because it doesn't have feathers. It can't protect itself that well because it doesn't have scales, and being a halfway house between dinosaurs and birds, it would be really easy prey too, and it wouldn't be able to find food that well. And this is a double issue. They can't find a viable mechanism for evolution, and even if they could, the creatures that are being evolved wouldn't survive anyway, so it wouldn't happen anyway. Now, the final argument is the fossil record. Fossils show, you would think if evolution was true, you would say millions of transitional forms, half dinosaurs, half birds, stuff like that. You know the number we see? 0. So all these evolutionists are saying, oh, this half bird, half dinosaur, it exists. We see zero fossils of that existing. And there's a few that seem to be like it, and those are easily refuted. Of that's literally just a dinosaur skull that you put in a bird. Like, that doesn't fit with the rest of the bird. And one of the biggest issues, this isn't one of the main arguments because it's not an argument against evolution, it's an argument against atheism, which uses evolution, is that they can't explain how the first life got there without God. And then some of them just say, like, oh, aliens put it there, but then how did the aliens get there? So that's, like, if they can't explain how the first life happened, and they can't explain how organisms can even evolve from that first life, and they can't explain how those organisms would even survive anyway, then why would we believe evolution? Share your thoughts in the comments, and make sure to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And if you want to see an argument for God that uses this, make sure to check it out right there.